Hi, it's Therese and I'm here for Penny Black and it's time to give me 5. I have 5 cards today to share, all using the same die. I know, I had to do another die again today. I just adore this gorgeous die it's called the Love and Roses set, and it's a very large die, and some people can be a little bit intimidated by such a large die. It's a word die that says love. I love the love die. It's awesome. But I just thought I'd share with you a few different ways that you can use it in your card projects, even though it's a really large font. Alright, so I decided to start off today with a few of the new fun images, or most of them are new. There is one that's from an older set, and I have stamped them out in an alcohol marker friendly ink and just doing some Copic colouring. I have lots to share with you today, so I'm not getting too overly detailed in my colouring. I'm not going to share all of it with you today, but I will probably share most of it. I have got the lids off to the side here so you can see the colours that I have used, but I've also linked my blog post below and you'll be able to see an exact list of the colours that I've used. Okay, the images that I'm colouring today, this little girl, isn't she the most adorable adorable thing? She is called, I'm from a set called Love You, and I have sort of got a bit of a colour theme happening today, although it's not a real strong colour theme. There is a bit of a mishmash of cards and colours that I'm using today, but they all kind of do go together. I've used a paper pad from Penny Black, which is an older paper pad called Summertime. It has some really beautiful colours, and the patterns in it are a bit smaller than a lot of the other colours, so they work really well on card projects. So this little cat, I just love the Penny Black cats, as you know. I often will colour them with my Inktense pencils, but I am having a go with my Copics today, and I didn't do so well on this little fella. I think on the love heart is where I really kind of mussed up. But what I did is I persevered a little bit, and then at the end you might notice that it's a little bit different. I did actually come in with a couple of, because I made the love heart, it's a pink colour. I did actually end up coming in with some Prismacolor pencils, which I often do on my Copic colouring. You can't do it before you do the Copic colouring, but you can come in afterwards when you've finished your alcohol marker colouring and add some details with Prismacolor pencils or any pencils, and that can just sort of help. I find it can help blend the colours so that I'm going to be a lot more happy with the outcome. I just didn't sit right with me. I knew I was going to cut this cat, I just wasn't sure how far down the heart I was going to go, so I did actually colour the whole sort of heart image just in case. So I'm putting colour on, I'm removing colour, I'm putting colour on, I'm removing colour and then I get darker. It's not pretty, but anyway, looking at it now, it's probably not as bad as what I thought it looked. I probably should have just left it and then come back to it a bit later. You know how you kind of do that with an image? You sort of can look at something and think it's just not working out, it's horrible, and then when you come back to it a little bit later on, it's just not as bad as you thought it was. Anyway, I did persevere. The next image that I'm doing here is another gorgeous new image, and it's called In Love. So this is obviously a Valentine sort of series of stamps that have been released, and there's some really pretty stamps, and I have mixed it up with some of the products that were released. I think it was last January for the Valentine's release, so it was really nice to get those out and play with them again. I do actually fussy cut all of these images. Some of them I leave a small white border, some of them I cut right up to the edge. If I do cut an image right up to the edge of the black outline that I've stamped, I actually come in with either a grey or a black marker from the back of the image and sort of cover the very edges where the cardstock was cut, just to make it look like I haven't, you know, that I have cut it right up to the edge. It's just a little trick that you can use. I'm not going to share the fussy cutting with you today. It did take a while, and you've seen me fussy cut before. And I think this video would have gone for 20 minutes had I included it, even if I had fast forwarded it. I am probably that slow. Now with this image here, I did actually colour. I didn't share it with you in the video, but I did actually come in and colour the grass and extended the grass out with a Copic multi-liner so that it just sort of flowed through on the image. And I also did come in and colour the balloons. I had to actually colour the balloons a couple of times. I wasn't happy with the first time that I coloured them, and because this is such a long video, I didn't bother including them. I'm struggling with balloons at the moment. Always struggling with balloons. But I'm practicing. So this is one of the cardstock that comes from the Summertime paper pad, and I've actually stamped the crimson blush. It's a rosebud directly onto the cardstock, and when I've coloured in with the Copic marker, it's kind of, because it's a little bit of a shiny finish, it actually gives a really nice finish on the cardstock. But you'll just see that I have actually patted off some of the marker as I've gone along. So this little kitty's from a Tiny Treats stamp set, and this is one of the older sets, and it's so sweet. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I actually do come in and do a bit of my shading at the end with the TO or the T2 markers. I find that just saves me a heap of time. I don't have to pick up 3 different shades of the same colour. I can use that same grey on all of my shading. Alright, so now it's time to do some die cutting. I have the Love Expressions, which is the 3 sentiments there. I've cut that out of some white cardstock with some adhesive tape on the back. I've also cut the word love out a few times out of all the cardstocks and some fun foam. And I'm going to start with the most clean and simple card. So this is some of the coloured cardstock out of the Summertime paper pad, and I'm just popping up the word love onto the fun foam and using my matte medium to do that. You could also use a double-sided tape for that. I've stamped in white heat embossed the U from the Good Days stamp set, and then I've just cut that out. It's on some hot pink cardstock. And then this is a top fold landscape card, and I'm just using the matte medium to adhere the word love directly onto the card front. And then that's all that's left for this card, is to pop up my little kitty and the word you, and I decided to put that in the middle of the word love. I really like this card just because it is so clean and simple, and I just love the pattern in this paper as well. It's so beautiful. So my second card today is going to be a shaker. I thought I had to include one shaker just to mix it up a bit. So I've die cut some more of the design paper, and it's a fairly sturdy design paper, but just to make it a bit stronger, I die cut it again in some white cardstock, then joined them together, added my acetate, created a well, and then my little heart shaker, hearts that I'm using the shaker, they're in the same hot pink cardstock, and I cut them out with a die called Hearts in a Circle. I added a piece of acetate to the back as well as some glitter in the middle, and just popped that on the front of a card. And this is my little cat holding the heart, and just popped him on the front of my card. I was in 2 minds here whether to put the center of the O and the word love in, and I ended up doing that on the acetate. I just thought it finished it off a little bit better. My third card today is another clean and simple design. This is actually the word love that came out of another die cut. You'll see this other one in a moment that I put together, but it's kind of a leftover word, and I've just popped that in the center of a top fold portrait card. The word hugs came from the Love Expressions die set, and then I just popped my little girl up. Isn't she sweet? She's my favourite. She has to be from Mo Manning. And this is, I decided to do some inlay die cutting here, And I have used some brown, this is some brown fun foam. I like using coloured fun foam just to change things up a bit, but it would look just as good with a white fun foam. This is another portrait style card. I've made sure that I added some adhesive to the edges of the letters, and then I also have added the matte medium where I'm going to stick my die cut letters in place. And I did have to make sure that I faced the centre of the O the right way. That could have been a bit disastrous. The word you came from the Love Expressions die set, and I just added a couple of sprinkles around the edge of the sentiment. They are fairly clean and simple today, aren't they? My final card, this is where I got the word love from in the little girl card. So this is another landscape card. I just want to stamp the balloon strings for this little couple. So I did mask that off and stamp those out. And then I can just adhere the word love, this panel directly to the card front, pop up my little couple. And also these are the balloons that I coloured in. Just going to pop those up and add some tape so that they touch the base of the balloon. So thanks for watching, and remember there are lots of ways that you can connect with Penny Black, so don't forget to like today's video and subscribe to the Penny Black YouTube channel. Visit Penny Black on Facebook and Instagram, and also check out their blog and website. I've linked all of those in the YouTube description box below, along with the link to my personal blog listing all of the exact supplies used in making these cards. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gimme 5 Same But Different Cards with Penny Black, and I look forward to seeing you here next time. Bye!